I was 25 when I decided to change everything. The way I drank, the way I loved, the way I lived, all of it, because I met her, and for the first time in my reckless, scattered life, I believed I could build something that lasted. This is the story of how I turned my life around for love, only to be left standing in the ruins, wondering if I'd been saved or simply used. It's not just a breakup story. It's a story about sacrifice, sobriety, hope, disillusionment, and eventually, redemption. I met her the way you meet someone when the universe wants you to. By chance, by luck, maybe by fate. She was 23, just arrived from another country, wide-eyed and full of dreams, working as an au pair. I was 2 years older, stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage, drinking too much, running from my potential. But the moment we connected, something clicked. She didn't just see the broken parts of me. She saw what I could be. And I saw in her a future, a family, stability, a soft, safe place to land. We talked about dreams, about having children, about building something beautiful from the mess of our pasts. She told me she had trauma, anxiety, that she'd been through things. But I didn't flinch. I leaned in, because I'd been through things too. That year, I got sober. I poured every ounce of pain, guilt, and longing into rebuilding myself. Early mornings, late nights, therapy, RR meetings. I went back to school and finished my graduate degree. Found a real job, a stable career. I filled out immigration forms, stood in government offices, read policies I barely understood. I did it all, because I wanted her to have the life she dreamed of. Because I believed in the we, more than the me. We moved in together, got married, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is the good life. Not perfect, but real. We weren't rich, but we had each other, and I thought that meant we had everything. But slowly, something shifted. It started small, a tone in her voice, the way she'd flinch at affection, the anxiety, the avoidance. At first, I chalked it up to adjustment. New country, new marriage, normal stress. But then came the conversations. About how she didn't know if she ever wanted children. About how the idea of becoming a mother triggered her. At first, I listened. Patiently. Told her we didn't have to rush. That we could wait, heal together. But the truth kept unfolding in layers. Not only was she uncertain, she was adamant. She didn't want kids. Not now, maybe not ever. I was flawed, because kids were the cornerstone of what we'd dreamed together, what I'd built my recovery on. And yet, I stayed. I compromised. I told myself love meant flexibility. That maybe we could still build something different, still beautiful. But then she started talking about needing space. About not knowing who she was. About how maybe marriage was a mistake. We started sleeping in separate rooms. Her words got colder, sharper. She began withdrawing. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. I kept trying. I cooked, cleaned, bought flowers, wrote letters. I asked, begged even, for her to tell me what she needed. What I'd done wrong. She said, it's not you. It's me. But I wasn't stupid. I felt the resentment, the avoidance, the way she recoiled from any conversation about our future. She started spending more time with her friends. Friends who told her she'd married too young. Friends who said she deserved to live a little. Friends who had no idea what I had sacrificed. I wanted to scream. I gave you everything, everything I had. I bled for this life. But I stayed quiet, stoic, hoping silence would be safer than desperation. Then one day, she said it. I don't love you anymore. And I don't want to be married. No yelling, no dramatic exit, just a quiet sentence that shattered my entire identity. I was 27, newly sober, a degree in hand, a job I liked, a man I was proud to be. But suddenly, I was also abandoned. And not just by a wife, but by the dream I'd rebuilt my life around. She left, packed a few bags, said she needed time to find herself. Didn't say much more, and just like that, the woman I gave everything for, was gone. The days after felt like crawling through glass. I questioned everything, my sobriety, my sanity, my worth. Had she ever really loved me? Had I been a project? A stepping stone? Did she use me to stabilize, only to discard me when she no longer needed support? Or was it just life? Two people changing, out of sync. Therapists call it trauma bonding, or misaligned attachment styles. But labels don't soothe empty beds or haunted minds. I cried a lot. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just silence you can't fill. But every morning, I still woke up. Sober, still here, still breathing. I looked in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, I asked, who am I if I'm not her husband? And slowly, I remembered. I'm the man who clawed his way out of addiction, who put himself through school, who stood in courtrooms, filled out immigration paperwork, built a life brick by brick. Not for her, but because I believed in something. That belief is still mine. She didn't take that. She just gave me a chapter, not the whole story. I learned some brutal truths in the months that followed. 1. You can love someone deeply and still not be enough for their healing. 2. Sacrifice is beautiful, but not a guarantee. 3. People change, dreams shift, and sometimes you're left holding a blueprint for a life no one else wants to build. But I also learned this. I am not broken. I am not foolish for loving with my whole heart. And I don't regret becoming the man I am, just because she walked away. She woke me up, lit a fire in me I didn't know I had. And even if she was only meant to be the spark, not the destination, I'm grateful. Today, I'm still sober, still working, still showing up for my life. I've started journaling again, hiking, talking to friends I forgot I had. I'm learning to fall in love with solitude, without equating it to loneliness. And maybe, one day, I'll meet someone who wants to build the same life. Kids, family, commitment. But even if I don't, I know I'm capable of loving, of rebuilding, of surviving, because I already have. If you're listening to this and you feel broken, like you gave everything to someone who walked away, let me tell you something. You didn't lose. You lived, you loved, and you grew. And now, it's time to build again. Subscribe for more stories of love, loss, and becoming.